How you doing? My name is Wilson Black. I'm originally from Yaoundé, Cameroon. I produce. I use Rocket KRK Rocket 5s. Steinberg CI2 is my sound card, and FL Studio 10 as my DAW. I also have an iMac on which I run Logic 9, and Sapphire VRM26 as my FireWire sound card for my Mac setup. I record my vocals and ad-libs and things of that nature on a SE2200, and my boot is my closet. Today I'm going to make an instrumental based on Nina Simone's rendition of Summertime. It's off her Deja Vu album. Let's go. So basically, this beat started with this sample. It's from Nina Simone Deja Vu album, and it's her rendition of the classic song Summertime, right? So I just like where she took it. It was jazzy, you know, give me a little bit of that dinner sort of feeling. So the first bit that I sampled is, for a long time I was opposed to just straight looping. I thought that was just sucker shit. That's just my personal opinion on it, right? So that's the first bit I sampled, right? And if some of y'all use free loops and you know you got the new Edison thing, then I don't know, maybe y'all know about the Slice X. So basically I copied it and I dropped it in there, and so what it gave me was this. Now, generally, what I like to do with certain samples, because this one here I'll let you play without the low pass filter, is it's very hairy, right? So to cut down some of the hairiness, like just low pass filter, that Pete Rock shit. If you know something about something, you figure that out. So that was the first bit of the sample. What I did with this beat is I went and I found different loops at first, you know. So I'll play you the different little bits that I got, so it's simple. Right, so like it saves you time if you do that before you start to make the beat, because then like you could just get fully creative. You don't have to stop and be like, okay, what's my transition gonna be? You already got a little bit of a transition. So I like the bass sound in it, like the double bass or whatever the hell they call that, and so I wanted to get some elements that incorporated that. And this one I just liked it. It was kind of some low piano notes, you know, something that may be able to accentuate. And generally, like when you make a sample beat, like in a lot of instances people want like some form of like vocal sample to go along with the instrumental. So like I took that bit. Another thing I did is I downloaded the MIDI file, because like I'm not classically musically trained, or whatever the correct terminology is. So like if you're not, and there's two options, you could either like buy Melodyne, which will discover like the key and the pattern for you, or you could just download the MIDI if the sample is popular enough, and generally you'll have it. That's just to give you like some ideas to add on. So this is like the original melody for the original Summertime. It's playing through a plugin called Massive right now. Massive is used heavily for like dubsteps and things of that nature, but I don't know, I just think it has a good variation of sound. It's able to provide different things. So anyways, so we're there. So from there, I had some basic idea of where I wanted to go, because basically I wanted to keep it sort of that boom bap bitch, but keep it also modern, because you know, like there's no point in trying to make a beat that's been made in some time, you know, like you gotta move with the time. So I had that original loop that I was talking to y'all about a couple minutes ago, so this one here, and that thing I was talking about, the vocal sample, you know what I'm saying? So I cut it up like, now what I did after this is, another point is, when you make your beats, like try to get the sample or the melody first, because then it makes your drum work simple. So after I had that, I wanted to have that element of the MIDI, so I'll just play the little synth line by itself, right? It just to add some form of variation, so it doesn't sound so, you know, monotone. And I had some break loop, that I turned it down, you know, like that. Then I reinforced the drums. And then I added the snare from another one. And so that was one pattern. I was satisfied with that pattern. But that pattern wasn't necessarily the pattern that I was thinking was going to be the main pattern, because I mean, I made it and it's good, it's funky, but it's a little like, it's only 4 bars, number one, and it's also kind of like, it's too raw to go with the summertime vibe. So I had another sample, the one I played earlier, so this one here. What I did is, when I opened it up in the slice X, I did a medium, medium auto slicing, right? And when you do it at the tempo that you're selected on, it will auto slice the sample to the tempo so that it matches the tempo. That's an important trick that Freedom just picked up. That's a real lifesaver, you know? So you don't have to try to like manually fit it on time, because that's headaches you don't necessarily need. So I took that double bass sample, you know, and I just added, from there it's just a question of adding frills and decoration, so like, you know, but you don't also want it to be too repetitive, right? Because then like the listener understands that you didn't create 25 different patterns, that you only have 4 or 5 different patterns, right? So with a little summertime thing, so I put, the drum pattern is somehow similar, but it doesn't have the extra snare in it. So from there I was pretty satisfied, and then I already had this double bass pattern. Like, it's the sample, it's the same tempo as it came out of the sample and stuff, so I figured it'll be good for an intro. So then when I had my different elements together, I went on and I said, alright, cool, let me try to structure the song, right? So I used that as the intro, so you know, it's the bum, bum. And from there, it's just more of a question of like, what kind of flourishes you want to add to the song, right? Like, because there's different things you can do. So now, like, a lot of southern producers, what they've introduced to the game is like the vocal effects that you record yourself. So that's what I did with that. The bop 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 part, like, I just recorded there and there. You know, then like you're rocking. Like, I'll play that back for you, like, quickly, so you. Summertime. You know, like, just to have a little, I recorded that also, just to have like some difference, something that makes your thing stand out. I also did something similar, like, you know, like, and this is another sample. And then another thing I did after that is I found a trumpet sample from one of these loop packs, like, hold on, let me play you the, yeah, that's the one there, right? So from there, I just sliced it up, like, accentuate the track, so that it has some form of movement in it, so it's not so monotone. Plus trumpets, it keeps in line with that whole jazzy feel, you know what I'm saying? And from there, I started up again, because I think that beginning is kind of, you know, it's a nice little throwback, but it travels, it goes places. And yeah, man, that's how I make beats. Oh, but I'm gonna tell you some important notes, because a lot of people, yo, you see this whole, like, especially the kind of music industry we're in nowadays, the name of the game is like plugins, right? So it's not even synthesizer plugin, it's sound plugins, right? So for example, this is the Oxford Native Inflator that I put on my sample to make it, to inflate it. And this is a vintage warmer, so it gives it drive and it also gives it some like analog sort of feeling, right? So these things help. And another thing is like these buses,
use them. So instead of having 25 different reverbs, you have one reverb to which you send different things to, right? Especially if you're producing off laptops and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? CPU saving is very important. It allows you to be more creative, right? And yeah, man, have fun. That's another thing. You gotta have fun with this. Like, you gotta liberate yourself, because that's what it's meant to be at the end of the day. And yeah, that's me. That's Wilson Black, and that's what I do. You just saw me make a beat. This is another one to represent a bit more where I'm trying to take my music. Here it is.
From my increase and it not decline, which crime me applaud, I did gun crime. From my increase and it not decline, which crime me applaud, I did one crime. From my increase and it not decline, which crime me applaud, I did one crime. From my increase and it not decline, which crime me applaud, I did one crime.
So you just witnessed me making a beat, Wilson Black. If you want to get at me, I have a SoundCloud, www.soundcloud.com/Wilson Black, WILSONBLACK. I have a Facebook, Wilson Black. I have an email address, wilsonblack@gmail.com. Holler at me. I'm always down to collabo, link up with like-minded people. Till we next meet, take care of yourself. Gone.